And well, good morning now. It's a Thursday morning, beautiful morning outside. Deep dish football game of the week. Herscher versus Manteno. Week 7 IHSA football. What more can you say? Interstate large battle. Herscher 6-0. Manteno 4-2. This is Coach Big Pete's Deep Dish Football's final thoughts before the big game tomorrow night at Herscher. Herscher's looking like a huge challenger for the IHSA state title. Of course, they got the teams look to other teams that are in that 4A bracket of basically playing against the types of teams of Rochester, Johnsburg, El Rabi, some serious teams that can do some damage. Let's go over a couple few things. This is my final thoughts in it. My first final thought that I think that is going to be interesting to this game is um, Manteno and Manteno's pass rush. Brandon Broekhagen is going to be a huge key player to it. Um, the nose tackle is going to be interesting too. The defensive tackle is going to be nose tackle to be interesting because it's from in front. Um, see how they close up the gaps. It's going to be it'll be a very interesting thing. Also, I'll be interested to see Herscher's quarterback, Jargon. I probably mispronounced the last name, like I do Corianda, their running back. I do apologize. Their quarterback, Herscher's quarterback, Jargon. I want to see what he can do. It's going to be a huge key to me to see what he can do. It'll be a huge plan for what he can do into the playoffs. He doesn't need to be a star quarterback. He's a hell of an athlete. Two sport athlete, if I'm not mistaken. So I want to see how, a little bit of his mobility, how he throws the ball. And the key thing for a high school quarterback, from a lot of high school quarterbacks, is he doesn't throw the bomb every. He doesn't need to throw the bomb every time. He checks out his shorter routes. He goes through the progressions of a high school quarterback, and he hits his shorter man. That is key in high school football because the defensive secondary always goes after the longer guy. That's why you have so much cushion between the defensive backs and the offensive receiver. So it's going to be interesting to see how he checks down on his shorter men. Um, Also, I want to see Tyler Stewart. He's just something special. Three sport athlete, basketball, baseball. A lot of interest from schools. Has chosen the baseball route. I have had a tremendous respect for this young man. I've seen him and Corianda play since their freshman year, um, and it's sort of good to see both these kids. They do well and it's deserved. Herscher deserves all the respect in the world, and what Coach Wetzel does for Herscher deserves all the respect in the world. I think this could be a very special year for Herscher, and they deserve it. Going on to Manteno, um, Brandon Steele, Shane Warren, those two athletes are unbelievable. Um, it's going to be interesting to see Warren. I think he's playing quarterback now. See what he does, especially like I said, with Jargon, the short routes. But I also want to see some of his mobility too. And Steele is a good wide receiver. You play a little bit of quarterback. Those two kids are key for Manteno. Coach Haynes is more into the sort of spread offense, as Herscher is into the run and shoot. But with the spread offense that Manteno has, they have a great group of wide receivers and athletes, ability to cut the short route and sometimes to even go longer. But what I think more important to Manteno in this game is the run game. How do they attack that Herscher defensive line? Um, because that Herscher defensive line is pretty impressive, and their linebackers, especially those linebackers that are playing, they have two-way players. They have a lot of two-way players. It's going to be very, very interesting to see. Also, I'm a little bit interested to see the Herscher's youth. Herscher's got a lot of youthful kids to look at. Um, Jones, I was playing a little bit on Herscher varsity. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do too. I think um, Herscher, their last tough game is going to be Piatone. Manteno, I think they can win out and go into the playoffs. I think Manteno can be a dark horse in the playoffs. Last year, they ended up going to Plano in the playoffs. I think Manteno can do a little bit better this year because I think a lot of people are underestimating Manteno. And like I said, Coach Haynes does an unbelievable job with that team. He puts his players in winning positions, just like Coach Wetzel. I think Coach Wetzel is one of the better coaches that emphasizes more of the run into the run and shoot. You won't see a lot of coaches doing a lot more running with the run and shoot. They mostly do it for passing, but Coach Wetzel does a hell of a job with that. Um, I think from what from the past times that I've coached against Wetzel as a defensive line coach, um, he does good jobs with the twin set. The twin set is a little bit of his bread and butter. I'm really impressed with his twin set. Um, I'm going to be even more looking into Corianda and how he runs the ball. It's going to be very interesting. Again, I think he's one of the most underrated athletes in the state of Illinois. It'll be interesting to see. Also, Manteno, I'm looking a little bit more into their offensive line. I think it's Timmer. There's another guy too that I'm forgetting about too, but it's going to be interesting. Manteno lost a lot of key players last year. They lost Schmidt. They lost uh, um, I'm forgetting his name. It's going to kill me. They lost Gavin Zimbelman, but they were able to find a quarterback to replace Gavin Zimbelman, and that just preaches to what Coach Haynes is doing as a head coach of Manteno. And again, this is a battle of two very good head coaches in that area. And I do consider Wetzel one of the top coaches in the state of Illinois for what he does with that team, for what he does with Herscher is unbelievable. And it's two great football cultures too, with Herscher and Manteno, and it's going to be good. And it's going to be a sad day too because the I-8's going the way of the dodo. It's going to be a sad day when the Interstate 8 ends. I coached in it. I think it's one of the better conferences. A lot of great football cultures in that conference, except for Westmont. I will admit that it's not a football school, never has and never will be. Don't even know why they joined the conference anyway. But it's going to be interesting to see. But I'm really looking forward to this game Friday night. I'm hoping to see more of that Herscher offensive line too. That's an offensive line I want to see too. But my final thoughts are this, and Herscher should be favored. But if Manteno does a quick strike and puts points on the boards, and they go into more of that faster mode, um, it's a little trouble for Herscher. But I don't think there's a clear on favor because this is Interstate 8 football. Interstate 8 football is literally a toss of flour into the wind. You don't know which way it's going to land. So it's going to be interesting. So Herscher versus Manteno, deep dish football game of the week tomorrow. Can't wait. I'm going to be there early for the sophomore game. Hell, I'm going to be there at 3 p.m. because I'm not going to go enjoy it. I'm not going to go through that traffic of going down south. It's going to be a fun time. Great to meet faces. Please introduce yourself. Um, please feel free to say hi. Please, if you see me, you'll know who I am. I'm the fat guy with the beard and the hat on the back or the bandana. So there's no way you can miss me. I'll probably be the biggest guy in that stadium area. So just feel free to say hi, introduce yourselves, please. No problems. So this is Coach Big Pete, Deep Dish Football member. Deep Dish Football Live is live again at 8 p.m. tonight. Going to talk a little bit more about Herscher Manteno. Going to do some magic numbers today. It's going to be fun. Please follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Please, if you have any questions, send me an email at coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. Also, feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel and everything else and visit deepdishfootball.com. Thank you guys so much, and I can't wait to see everyone tomorrow.